Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this one is about Soldano Super Lead Overdrive pedal. First, let's listen a song I wrote inspired by this pedal. So the signal chain is guitar, then this pedal set up like this, everything at 7, 2 o'clock, no deep switch on, into Marshall JCM800 2203 Zach Wild signature head, the low input, so it's clean setup, presses 7, bass 7, mids 4, treble 7, master 4, pre and full, and the low input, so it's totally clean. Then into one of my Marshall cabinets, this one loaded with original Marshall vintage speakers, the original V30 and greenbacks. This time I'm using the vintage speaker mic with two SM57s in the Fredman style, and that's it. Alright, let's listen to the song and then let's discuss this pedal more. Rock and roll. Okay, a little bit of the riffs from the song and so on. But yeah, the pedal. Well, I guess I went through the signal change. So, but the guitar is one of my signature ESPs. In this time, this one in standard D tuning. So one whole step down with EMG 57 and 66 pickups. And it's going to the pedal, which is here. Yes. And then into amps, and no noise gates, nothing. It's a, you know, there's a bit of a noise because there's no gates and stuff, but this is my gate now. So, and then straight into the Marshall and to the cabinet. So the sound without the overdrive. It's like a, you know, clean sound, and then pretty cool pedal. So I'm turning an 800 into SLO, which is pretty cool. This one has a 6550 power tubes. Other than that, it's bone stock 2203X, just with the wild graphics. So it's bone stock. No much, nothing going on. About the pedal, as you can see, there's a volume, presence, gain, treble, middle, and bass controls. And to me, at least today, these were the sweet spots. Everything at 2 o'clock. No, there's the deep switch, which kind of is what the current SLO 100 has, the resonance switch, like on a 5150, but you know that it's a knob, but this is just an on and off switch. So if I engage that, you get a huge low end. I didn't find a use to that with my setup, but obviously if you have a, let's say, a power amp that doesn't provide that much low end, or you want to have your, let's say, clean sound with a not that much low end, kind of funky, taka taka. So then when you engage this, you can have the low end, what you need. I think it's pretty handy, it has that. So let me tweak the controls a little bit so you can see. But this works surprisingly closely as a real, like, SLO head. Well, let me show you. First, let's check out the tone stack. Even when the treble is full, it's not like harsh. I mean, there's a lot of it, but it's like an SLO, kind of smooth. But with the way I dial, everything is always very start to open, and it is 2 o'clock. Mids, like an SLO head, it's quite a bit different than on Marshall's, because Marshall's mid control the frequency. Because, you know, these are volume controls for certain frequencies, kind of like white cues, what the designer has, how the designer has designed them. So this controls more low mids than on an 800, for example. So listen. So no matter what you do, it's never like a boxy or hunky. It just adds more low mid thumb or less. There. Oh, now it went to 6. Oh, let's keep that in there. Currently, I like now 6 more than I like 7 5 minutes ago. Okay, then bass. No, it can get a bit flabby. And again, let me put the deep switch on bass 0. it's like the original head. And to me, like an 800, it doesn't really matter where the knobs are. It sounds always good. I mean, 800 can get a little bit boxy if you crank the mids too much, but other than that, it's, you know, it sounds good. I mean, obviously, it's about the player because amplifier amplifies your sound. But anyway, then the volume. That's just a basic volume, so you can balance the, you know, the relationship between your clean and overdriven tones. Cool. And obviously the more you crank the volume, because this is now in front of the amp, so it will drive the preamp tubes a bit harder. So in this case, when I'm not having it in the effect loop, I'm just having it in front of the amp. It's when you crank the volume, it acts like a, you know, volume boost. If I turn the gain down, now it doesn't drive them too much because I'm having the low input. Okay, then we have the presence. This is a bit like on 5150 and on the SLO head, because 5150 was, I think, quite heavily influenced by SLO, or James Brown, the designer, was because Eddie used SLO around that time when the 5150 came on the Van Halen's For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge album. So they are actually quite close, you know, those two amps, not the same, but so. And the presence when it's cranked, but it's still not like harsh, at least to my ears, to hear. It just has a lot of presence. Again, the sweet spot. Where it opens. Oh, now I had it more than I used to. So, this is the reason I'm not having any settings, because people ask, what are my settings? Well, they are what they happen to be at any given time, day. You know, just what I like at the moment. So, gain. A lot of gain. There, when it's like zzz. I think I have now a little bit less than what I had previously. That's the pedal. Yeah, you can have a SLO sound with your amp. I mean, obviously I don't know what is your amp, but at least with 800 it works, and basically whatever amp. And these are not like now my settings when the preamps is dialed like this. But next, let's see what happens when I plug this directly into the effect loop of the 800, because this has an effect loop. These old ones I have, these are from the early 80s. These don't have an effect loop. That's why I'm using this now, one of the reasons. It's a great amp. So I'm gonna put this now to the effect loop return, which means that since effect loop is after amplifier's preamp stage and before power amp, then this will go directly to the power amp. So then this will act as our only preamp, because now I'm having the SLO overdrive preamp pedal. I think this is, well, like you heard, it's a preamp pedal. Overdrive, just basic overdrive like SD1. The frequency range is very limited. It's basically mids. If you put that into an effect loop, well, it will sound like shit. You know, then your power amp will get a very narrow mid frequency, and well, I mean, it's in the ear of the beholder, but at least to me, it sounds like shit. But let me put this into the return of the power amp. All right, now it's in the return of the power amp. Let's see what happens. Yeah, like you hear now, the only thing that is working now is presence, since it's after the loop. Usually after the It's kind of in the power amp section, so it works. The master volume doesn't work, because with master volume, you know, you control how much current your power amp gets from the preamp. But now, since the pedal goes straight into, let's keep the presence where it was, and now obviously we need to dial this differently, because it's sounding interesting. And now with the volume, now you can decide how much current you want to put into the preamp power amp tubes, how much you get the power amp distortion. And obviously now, when we don't have the preamp or the amplifier in, you know, which provide us more treble, more everything, I need to crank the treble and presence here so that it doesn't sound like it's coming from behind the, you know, blanket. I guess with a little bit of more tweaking, obviously trying into different power amps, you could make it sound better. But my conclusion, this is literally the first time I tried it like this, is that it's more like an overdrive preamp pedal. So at least now with this experience, in my experience, the way I would use it, and probably will use it because it sounds great. I can have my JCM800 tone, and then I can have an SLO tone. So in front of the amp, into a clean amp, and then first dial a nice, you know, good clean tone, and then this one into it and dial the knobs accordingly. Conclusion. Great pedal, really simple to use, acts like a SLO amplifier. You get that nice low mid RAWK, which is typical to SLO. And yeah, what can I say? With this pedal, you, or at least I, can turn at least my JCM800 into a SLO 100. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative. All the best. Take care. Rock and roll.